Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video I'll take you behind the scenes of a full day of rainy photography here in Tokyo, Japan. And I'll also talk about my favorite camera and lens setup that I've been using, as well as the accessories that I've been using on this trip. Hope you enjoy it. So, looks like another gloomy day with some rain later here in Tokyo. Gonna head out to Ginza first, buy a filter for my 50 and take some photos, maybe, depending on how it looks. Then later we're gonna go out again. It can be a little bit overwhelming almost because I have so many plans, but only so much time. But also I prefer it that way. That's really fun. That's the most fun way to do it instead of just waiting around. So I'm really excited and let's go. So about my camera gear for today, I'm using my main camera body, the Sony A1 for this daytime photography session. I'm also using the 50mm f1.2. I just picked up a Promise filter for this lens, which I didn't use for the daytime photos, but I'll use it later tonight. You'll be able to see the difference. Today's one of those days where it's mostly drizzling on and off, so once I was done with my pigeon photography, I decided to grab some lunch and wait for the rain to intensify, or at least the sun to set. Now I have this monopod, aka a long stick, for my DJI Pocket 2 that I've been experimenting with in order to get photos and footage from a very high angle that wouldn't otherwise be possible. And I've used this method before in South Korea, but I always really wanted to try this on the most busy crossing in the world, the Shibuya crossing in Tokyo, especially when it was raining, when you could get those higher angles above the umbrellas. So I put the long stick in my bag and hope for the best. And after a while it did start raining just enough for people to pull out their umbrellas. Unfortunately, because I'm a big fool, I don't have any of the behind the scenes footage of me shooting this, which would be really interesting to see, but at least I have the actual footage, which is, I guess, the most important part. I always get questions about this viewpoint. It's actually a free observation deck at the Hikari building. For some reason it's not that well known, but it's a great view you should definitely check out if you're in the area. You might notice some of these pictures are a wider angle. I recently picked up an 18mm Samyang lens for the Sony E-mount. It is a tiny lens, very wide angle, very light because it's made of plastic, but I quite like it, especially because the wider angle allows me to use the stabilization from Sony in post, which includes a little bit of a crop. And it's also the perfect lens to use with a gimbal because it is so light. And it's even good for vlogging and not that expensive. I'm really glad that I picked this one up. Very easy to just leave it in the bag. It is the lightest lens that I've ever owned. And the optics, not too bad either. This is another very common viewpoint of the crossing in the Shibuya Mark City, and this time, just for the hell of it, I was testing my friend's 35mm Sigma art lens. At this point of the night we had an idea. Let's walk all the way from Shibuya to Shinjuku and take photos on the way. That turned out to be a great idea. What wasn't a great idea was to drink these on the way. I'm not gonna lie, that might have affected my ability to take photos on the way, but I still managed a couple of shots. On the way we also purchased this item, which became my favorite camera bag of all time. Now speaking of camera bags, because there's been a bunch of changes and additions and subtractions to my camera gear ever since I last made what's in my camera bag type of a video, I think I'm about due for an update. So if you have any questions about the cameras that I use, let me know in the comments and I'll address them in the upcoming video where I'll talk more about my most commonly used camera gear and the reasons behind it. As for this video, I still got a couple more photos to show you guys. These were taken the following day near my hotel in Shimbashi, Tokyo. After this video, still got a couple more videos from this trip to Japan coming. We're gonna head to Kyoto and Osaka and then back to Tokyo shooting some film and possibly some Instagram Reels videos as well. See you then and thank you for watching this one.